What is the deadline or statute of limitations for bringing a dog bite claim in Illinois? Hi, I'm Josh Rorscheib. I'm a personal injury lawyer. Today I'd like to talk to you about deadlines in dog bite cases or when the statute of limitations would run in a dog bite case. Typically in Illinois, if you're going to bring a dog bite claim or case, we do so under two primary theories of liability. One is a statute called the Illinois Animal Control Act, and the other is a simple negligence theory, that the dog's owner had a duty to use reasonable care in controlling their dog. They failed to control the dog and the dog bit you. It's usually those two theories. Under either of those theories, you generally would have 2 years in Illinois as a deadline before filing the case. So you'd have 2 years from the date of the bite, the attack, or your injury to file a lawsuit in Illinois related to a dog bite. Generally, that's the general rule. But it's important to note that there are some important exceptions. One exception that's actually come up in a case I've handled in the past involves animals that are owned by a governmental entity. So if a local governmental entity owns a dog, you may only have 1 year. The second exception is by far a more common exception, and that is injuries to children. Unfortunately, a lot of dog bite cases involve injuries to children. Generally, a dog bite case involving a child, you would have 2 years from the child's 18th birthday. So you'd have until the child is 20, even if the child was very young when the bite occurred. Earlier this year, we settled a case for a 12-year-old who was bit when he was only 2. So 10 years after the bite, we settled a case because the statute of limitations, the deadline, doesn't begin to run, the 2 years doesn't begin to run until the child turns 18. One note of caution with cases involving children: even though you would typically have a long time before you'd have to get a claim on file, we'd strongly encourage you to pursue a claim on behalf of a child earlier for a few reasons. One, you want to make sure you can still gather all of the medical records that would be needed. And in cases where you're pursuing a case 7 or 8 years later, if you haven't already gathered the records, they may no longer be available. Another factor is children are at their most sympathetic when they're little, and cases may have more value when the plaintiff or the injured person is younger. You have to use some care though, because you want to make sure you understand the full nature of their damages. And if you settle a case too early and a child has multiple procedures later, you don't want to inadvertently settle a case for too little. What you want to do in those cases is get opinions as to what procedures may be necessary in the future and build those damages in to the settlement amount if you're able to settle the case while the child's younger. Another advantage of settling a case while the child's younger is the settlement funds would have time to grow on behalf of the child. So for all those reasons, we generally encourage our clients that even though you have until the child turns 20, it's usually a better idea to pursue the case right away. If you have any other questions about what deadline might apply, it's always a good idea to talk to an injury lawyer, have a free consultation. It won't cost you anything. That way you can find out exactly what deadline applies to your specific situation. We'd be happy to help you with that. If you have any other questions about dog bite cases, please don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you for watching this video.